It means that just like every other evening here, the citizens here, the people here, the residents are bracing for another afternoon and evening of rockets. And we saw last night exactly what it means. A little kid was killed here. Even though he did everything right, he ran along with his mother to the shelter, to the protected room. They were killed even inside the protected room, and that raises serious questions regarding that. And yes, if this operation continues, clearly if it intensifies, then there is a risk of once again going through a violent night like the ones we've seen in the past few days.
Talk to me more about this particular incident last night in Sderot, this horrible incident where, as you mentioned, this family, they have a protected room in their high-rise apartment. It's a heavily fortified room with special windows, special length. The thickness of the room is different. It's a fortified area, and yet that rocket went right through the room, killed a 5-year-old boy. Tell me more about how people in Sderot are reacting to this horrible story.
There's a great concern because all of the new buildings here in the city, and there are many of them, they come along with that protected room. And the notion was that if there is a rocket, you are safe as long as you are in the protected room. We have to say this has been the case in hundreds of previous events. These protected rooms saved hundreds, if not thousands, of lives. But we see now that just like the Iron Dome, it's not 100% protection. And some of the shrapnel from the rockets sent by Hamas can go through that room, which is quite fortified. As you mentioned, in this specific case, pieces of shrapnel went through the metal which covers the windows, and it was able to go through that. There is perhaps a thought that Hamas is sending rockets which are far heavier now, and therefore their shrapnel is much bigger and much deadlier. That is yet to be seen, but there is now an understanding that as important as those safe rooms may be, they're not 100% safe, and you may be hurt even if you're inside them. Clearly a big tragedy there happening last night.
Yeah, Jonathan Rega for us live in Sderot. I mean, we have 7 deaths from Hamas attacks in Israel. We have hundreds of injuries so far in the last 72 hours on the IDF strikes in Gaza. More than 600 targets hit, dozens of fatalities in Gaza as well.